My boyfriend is a legacy organizer. On the day I died alone, he was celebrating his white moonlight's birthday. Later, as usual, he tidied up the room for the deceased, unaware that this time the deceased was me, and those were my belongings. On the day he learned the truth, he clutched my pregnancy test report and broke down. On the 15th day after my death, my soul still wandered in the human world, but today was different from usual. I saw Julian in my own room. He was meticulously tidying every corner of the room. This house was one I secretly rented after arguing with him. No one knew my name, no one knew my past. The half-peeled grapefruit I hadn't finished was thrown into the trash by him, and the half-knitted sweater on the sofa was also packed into the legacy storage box. Julian is my boyfriend and also my fiancé. 2 hours ago, the landlady contacted him to come and help tidy my belongings, saying I was a very good girl, but unfortunately suffered from asthma and died alone in the room, which was truly pitiful. Julian loved this job and was full of compassion, offering to send this lonely girl on her final journey for free. He pulled out the box from under the bed and stared at the cosmetics inside in a daze. Each brush had neatly pasted Crayon Shin-chan stickers. I was a Crayon Shin-chan fan, something Julian and everyone around knew. His assistant Evan, who followed him, "Bro, this girl has the same hobby as sister-in-law, the house is full of Shin-chan." Mentioning me, Julian seemed very impatient and casually threw the brushes into the box. "Mention her less, it's annoying." Evan scratched his head. "By the way, you haven't contacted sister-in-law for half a month, right? Aren't you afraid she'll really get angry and ignore you forever?" Julian ignored him, took out the envelopes from the drawer, looked at them, and, adhering to the idea of respecting the deceased, stuffed them into the storage box without opening them. If he had been a bit more careful or had a better memory, he would have discovered that those envelopes were all love letters I had written to him before. Julian and I were high school classmates, both of us were eccentric rebels, and we reunited at a teacher's funeral. He abandoned his family business to become a legacy organizer, while I chose an extremely niche profession, mortuary cosmetologist. On the day we met again, Julian was very awkward. "If you have any needs regarding belongings, you can contact me." I nodded, showing an awkward yet polite smile. "If you die horribly in the future, I can help make you look handsome." From then on, Julian pursued me madly. People in the circle said we were birds of a feather, a match made in heaven. Until Clara returned to the country, the conflicts between us escalated. On the day my asthma attacked, I frantically pulled out the inhaler from my bag, but accidentally dropped it onto the balcony downstairs. Wrapped in intense suffocation, in a daze, I kept pressing the side button on my phone, dialing the said emergency number. But each time, it was mercilessly hung up. My soul floated out the window and drifted with my thoughts to where Julian was. He was at a hotel with friends celebrating Clara's birthday. At that moment, my heart seeped with deep sourness. Now I stand beside Julian, watching him meticulously pack everything that belongs to me. When he works, he's very careful, properly storing even an ornament or a toothbrush. He pushed open the wardrobe and began sorting my clothes. In the cabinet was an out-of-place white men's shirt. Julian held it and looked, seeming to notice the familiar scent. His eyes slightly brightened, brows furrowed deeply. He raised his hand to shake the shirt twice, but a piece of paper folded several times, square-shaped, fell from the pocket. It was the pregnancy test report from half a month ago, which I had casually stuffed in while hugging the shirt to sleep at night. He picked up the paper, hesitated slightly, and just as he wanted to open it, he was interrupted by the landlady entering. "Mr. Julian, have a cup of water, it's really troublesome for you today." Julian casually put the report into the box, took the mineral water handed by the grandma, and chatted. "Thank you, Grandma." Was the deceased the owner of the house? "The home is really simple." The landlady sighed. "Serena was my tenant, an extremely beautiful girl, often sending fruits to this lonely old woman." "How could such a good girl die?" Julian's drinking motion stopped. "My fiancée is also named Serena and likes Crayon Shin-chan, quite fateful." He then asked, "How do you plan to handle these belongings?" The landlady's weathered face was full of sorrow. "What is brought at birth cannot be taken at death, why not burn them all?" Julian nodded and unusually asked more. Okay, leave it to us. By the way, has the girl's body been cremated? Not yet, it's at the mortuary unclaimed. My fiancé is a mortuary cosmetologist, I'll have her go and do the makeup. One lives a lifetime and should depart decently. The landlady, teary-eyed, held Julian's hand. Thank you, I thank you on behalf of Serena. I watched them, lips curling in a cold smile. Julian is truly compassionate, but he never pitied me even a bit. He said he felt sorry for me and would spend the rest of his life making up for my missing childhood, but then he entangled with Clara. Julian, now that I'm dead, are you happy? Thunder roared outside, the landlady hurried back to collect clothes. As soon as she left, Julian took out his phone to call me. The number you dialed is powered off. Several times, it was the fixed automated response. Julian's face visibly darkened. Where has Serena been these half months? Did she run off with someone else? Evan defended me. Bro, if you say you ran off with someone, I'd believe it. Saying sister-in-law ran off is a bit too much. Then why doesn't she answer my calls? It's been so long, and she's still sulking with me. It's the bad temper I spoiled her with. Evan pursed his lips. Sister-in-law's last call was on May 18th. What were we doing that day? Have you forgotten? Clara's birthday. You called the brothers to celebrate well. Bro, some words I must say. First, Lily has been rescued by the police. Second, sister-in-law didn't do it on purpose. Get it clear, it was Lily who asked her to go shopping, and Lily didn't let her follow. Even if you're angry, you can't vent randomly. Julian regretfully hammered the wall, but I just can't untie this knot. Seeing her name reminds me of Lily. In the second week after engagement, his sister Lily asked me to go shopping together. I wasn't really keen, but Julian said going out to relax was good and could cultivate sister-in-law relations early. Lily held my arm coquettishly, insisting I accompany her. At the mall, Lily saw I was tired, bought me coffee, and let me sit downstairs to wait. But half an hour later, I realized something was wrong. Lily's phone was unanswered no matter how I called. Anxious, I searched for her in the mall. Asking staff to broadcast was useless. Until I received Julian's call. Isn't Lily with you? I choked. Lily is lost, I'm looking. Julian's voice was loud, full of anger, startling me. Why didn't you follow her every moment? Why did you separate? She's been kidnapped now, the situation is critical. Serena, didn't I tell you Lily's mental age is only 8? How dare you let her shop alone? Listening to his questioning, the phone slipped from my hand and shattered. I didn't know how to explain. I only knew if Lily wasn't found, she'd be in danger, and I'd live in guilt for the rest of my life. On the way from the mall back to Julian's home, my tears hardly stopped. Fortunately, things turned around. 48 hours later, the kidnappers called, asking us to place $600,000 ransom at a specified location. But the person delivering the ransom had to be me. Julian agreed almost without hesitation. When I stood in the abandoned classroom holding the ransom, wrapped in the eerie cold air around, my hair stood on end. Rustling sounds came from behind. As I turned, I was knocked out with a stick. When I opened my eyes again, I was at the Liu family home, my head aching badly. Present besides the Liu family was Julian's childhood sweetheart, his white moonlight Clara. She had returned recently, and the first thing was to find Julian, following him daily chattering. Julian was usually taciturn, most annoyed by talkative people, but he never rejected Clara, patiently answering her every question. I couldn't help but feel jealous. Minutes later, my expression froze. Good news, Lily was found. Bad news, Lily fell from a high building, became vegetative, lying in hospital needing special care for everything. Julian pulled me up from the bed, his eyes full of resentment. How was Lily kidnapped? Why did you leave her? Now she's vegetative, it's all your fault. My mind was dizzy like paste, tears dropped patteringly as I explained nonstop. It was Lily who asked me to wait downstairs. She said she wanted to chat with classmates about school. I didn't know this would happen. If I knew, I'd protect her inseparably. Julian's love for his sister was well known. His mother had difficult labor giving birth to her and stayed in the delivery room forever, while the sister had intellectual developmental delay from birth. Now in her teens, with only an 8-year-old's mind. But she had basic self-care ability and often sneaked to the mall alone, unknown why this time something happened. I cried, wiping tears. I didn't mean it. How could I know this would happen? In the future, I'll take care of Lily, okay? That's the sister my mom saved with her life. Whatever you say now is too late. I don't want to see you for the rest of my life. Julian looked at me, spitting words without warmth. Serena, get as far away as possible. Unwilling, I asked, what about the kidnappers? Were they caught? Who pushed her down the stairs? Several people present shook their heads. Clara chimed in, Sister Serena, don't add chaos here. Brother Julian must feel bad now. You should go, come back when he's calmed. I looked at Clara, feeling her presence wasn't coincidental, but couldn't say what was wrong. After leaving, Julian only answered my call once, when drunk. Guilty and remorseful, I cried, asking how to make up for Lily. He said, Serena, Lily is my only family in the Lou home. Now like this, tell me how to forgive you. I choked, sobbing. One more thing. That day I was too anxious and forgot. We saw Clara at the mall. Lily said after done, Sister Clara would buy her lollipop. I think. Julian interrupted, you think it's suspicious? Can you not be paranoid daily? She's just a childhood friend. Serena, don't contact me for now. I don't want to hear your voice or see you. The moment the call was hung up mercilessly, I felt acid in my stomach, hugging the trash bin, vomiting dinner clean. On May 18th, I left the hospital dazed. The pregnancy report in hand showed the fetus at 16 weeks, developing well. After much hesitation, I decided to muster courage to tell Julian. Just like his calls to me, unanswered repeatedly, finally becoming the other party powered off. I comforted myself then, Julian is busy, maybe he'll answer at night. But I deceived myself. Clutching my belly, curled on the floor despairingly awaiting death, my mind was full of scenes traveling to Italy with Julian. That year the weather was cold. After dinner, we strolled near the hotel. Passing a corner, Julian suddenly pulled me. He pinned me against the wall, wrapping me with his coat. I shivered from cold, hands together blowing into palms for warmth. He said, Serena, there's snow on your lashes. I shook my head, trying to shake off the snowflake. Julian held my face, lightly kissing my lips. Blushing, I smiled, burrowing into his arms, playing rogue. Julian kissed my ear tip, took out a ring from his pocket, knelt on one knee before me. Dear Miss Serena, will you marry me? In the future, you'll do my makeup, I'll organize your belongings. I pushed his shoulder. EW, what underworld confession? Spit spit spit, jinx, quickly spit 3 times to expel bad luck. Unexpectedly, this joke became prophecy. I remember before darkness engulfed me, my blurry consciousness held on to look at the door. I saw Julian rushing towards me anxiously. He cried, pouncing beside me, calling Serena. I asked him if he remembered our first meeting. He said, it was at my sister's flower shop. You asked me to wrap a bunch of small daisies. Gasping heavily, I recalled that afternoon years ago, he in fresh school uniform at the flower shop door, smiling, revealing 2 sharp little tiger teeth. And I stuffed gum in my mouth, whistled at him, money paid, the flowers are my gift to you. See you if fated. Secret crush is a girl's flustered hidden love letter, pre-rain heat, stuffed ice water in desk drawer, a bunch of green small daisies. I liked Julian many years ago. But blinking again, the room was empty, he wasn't there. In the 40 square meter rental, I lonelily and despairingly felt my weakening breath until falling into endless abyss. My soul had nowhere to go, always sticking by Julian. I saw him help Clara wear a diamond-studded hair crown, light candles for her, urge her to wish quickly. Her lips trembled. I want to be with brother Julian forever. Julian paused but just smiled, not stopping. The deceased's home is really clean, like no traces of life, must be a lonely and painful person. Recollection stopped abruptly. I was pulled back by Evan's voice. Julian picked up the vase on the table, shook his head at the withered flowers. Not necessarily, I think she quite loved life. Evan is a chatterbox, can talk forever on a topic. He glanced here twice, smiled. It's small daisies, scatter them and they grow a lot, easy to raise. You know quite a bit. Evan full of pride, isn't this coincidental? I sent this flower chasing my girlfriend, meaning love hidden deep in heart. My girlfriend still calls me silly, saying if she didn't know flower language, we'd have missed each other. The vase fell with a sound, Julian's hand froze midair. Evan looked strangely twice, what's wrong? Julian smiled awkwardly, nothing, you go back to the office first. I have something, won't go tonight. Evan ahead, holding belongings, got in the car. Julian took out his phone, opened the only blocked contact in chat app, dense nagging messages stopped on May 18th, all trivial matters. You really not forgiving me? I can care for Lily. Weather cooling soon, preparing to knit you a scarf. Lately busy, max 1 day makeup for 4 bodies, feel full of dead smell. Julian, today our 2-year anniversary, see message, can you reply? Each message sank without response. But now Julian hesitated typing, where? I'll find you. If usual, I'd reply instantly, with a cheeky cat emoji, then a clingy voice message. But now I'm dead. No one will rudely disturb Julian anymore. He should be happy, why furrow brows? Phone rang untimely, his childhood sweetheart. Clara sounded low, brother Julian, forecast says thunderstorm tonight, I'm scared, want to be with you. Julian seemed irritated, sleep early, I'm busy today, home's 2 cats not fed. Didn't you say come find me? I'm at your door now. Julian paused, replied, I'll be back soon. He really cares for her. But I fear thunder too, fear dark, fear being abandoned. After separation, every night I hid under covers to sleep. I dreamed Lily flipping downstairs, blood flowing from her head, she lay on ground, asking me to save her. Dreamed mom making me wait at amusement park entrance, I waited and waited, till feet sore legs numb, till sunset dusk. Little me could sense emotions, thinking of pale brother in hospital bed, realizing home couldn't afford 2 kids. So I was mercilessly abandoned by mom. Why does life always present 2 choices to my most important people, and why am I always the one thrown away? I followed Julian home. Clara stood at door shivering, rubbing hands non-stop, improved after entering, sat on sofa drinking hot water. Tuanzi and Uenzi meowed hungrily, pouncing at Julian's feet. Dad's back, starved the 2 little babies? Clara frowned displeased, I was scratched by cat as child, hate cats. Julian glanced twice, my fiancé raised them, she likes. Scene was awkward for a while. I didn't understand why Julian was such a killjoy in this most suitable cheating environment, what was he trying to express? Clara acted better than female stars, stood running behind Julian, hugged his waist. Tears fell like free, soon wetting Julian's shirt. Brother Julian, don't push me away this time, since moving abroad, I never forgot you a day. Julian didn't want to touch her, let go, home has surveillance, if Serena sees, misunderstanding again. I sat on sofa watching them act back and forth tugging idle drama, subconsciously reached for pineapple and fruit plate, but passed through. Almost forgot, I'm a soul now, can't eat favorite pineapple, nor regularly check surveillance. Clara cried like pear blossoms in rain, but she harmed your sister, you haven't contacted long, you like me too, right? When did I say I like you? On birthday, I said want to be with you forever, you didn't deny, you said isn't this liking me? Julian full of speechlessness, it was your birthday, so many people there, how could I bear to reject your face? Clara, this means nothing, I have a fiancé, we're engaged, we'll marry in future. Now not only Clara at loss, even I was confused. Didn't he say never forgive me for life? Then why plan to marry me? I scrutinized Julian from head to toe, finding I couldn't read his heart. But for me, the dead, these aren't important. Clara anxious, forcibly hugged Julian not letting go, brother Julian, did you forget our childhood? We watched TV together, commuted to school, ran and played in villa, once you water-gunned me to drench chicken, and angrily chased you with broom. Everyone said we'd marry when grown, but why midway a inexplicable Serena appeared. Julian pried her hands, stepped back. Later you left without farewell, family moved abroad, I should start new life. I met Serena, she's more suitable to accompany me. Clara, sorry, you deserve better. I can only belong to my fiancé, that's all, ask no more, I'll taxi you back. He said so affectionately. If not for months ago when Clara returned, supporting drunk him at door provoking me, I'd be moved. Clara cried and fussed, finally driven out. Julian sat at table eating takeout. Fingertips slid in our chat records. Table still had dried champagne roses, long unmanaged, water bottle floated white mold. Those were flowers I inserted by hand before Lily's incident. Julian knew I loved flower arranging, every time passing flower shop, brought back several different flowers, but he loved buying white roses most. I held flower shears standing at table carefully trimming branches. Julian from behind encircled my waist, chin on my shoulder, rubbing like large dog. Julian, if rutting, roll aside to rut. Julian as if not hearing, continued clingy, Serena, you changed perfume, this scent suits you. I rolled eyes, corpse odor from mortuary. Julian covered my mouth, stopping nonsense, spit spit spit, I'm flirting with you, steal straight girl really kills mood. I held vase looking repeatedly, satisfied with my arrangement. But if new white roses were Clara's favorite, I'd mercilessly throw them all in trash. Julian opened auto-blocked call records, there a number called 6 times consecutively, all missed. He furrowed nice brows, called back. Other end answered quickly, seeming waited long. Mr. Julian? We're Lingnan Road Mortuary, when do you have time to claim the body? Julian stunned, what body? Your girlfriend's body, here over half month, no family claimed, called you several times, no answer. You got wrong person? The guy sighed helplessly, Serena, female, 28, red birthmark behind ear, died of asthma. Last call May 15th to you, noted dear Mr. Julian, can't be wrong? Phone dropped from Julian's hand, he almost drained of all strength, staggered steps falling to ground. Minutes later, Julian drove to Lingnan Road. I sat in passenger watching him red-eyed going crazy. Bean-sized raindrops smashed car glass mercilessly, but didn't affect him flooring accelerator. Julian ran into mortuary, with trembling hand lifted white cloth, seeing body's face, cried pouncing before morgue table. Serena, you must be joking, you're playing temper to anger me on purpose, right? I smacked lips, sighed helplessly, body stored too long, already rigid, face and neck with many livor mortis. Truly pity, my makeup skill so good, 5 years no complaints, in end, couldn't do my own makeup. In my impression, Julian always gentlemanly. I never saw him cry heartrending like now, hugging body not letting go, Serena. Wake up. Let's take wedding photos, I'll never tell you to roll again. I want to see you, I think of seeing you daily, get up. Staff helplessly shook head, stepped forward advising, sir, dead can't resurrect, condolences. Julian as if not hearing, tightly hugged my body, tears fell on pale skin, but I couldn't feel temperature anymore. When he exited mortuary, eyes red, body swaying, about to fall but supported. Seeing it was Clara, somewhat disappointed. Brother Julian, I came first thing upon news, Sister Serena so young, I feel regretful too. But dead is dead, survivors must continue living, don't be too sad. Julian held my urn, eyes with heavy hatred, voice low, that day you hung up my call? Clara guilty, muttered softly, you went to bathroom without phone, I saw Sister Serena's call and hung up, later accidentally deleted record too. Julian broke down roaring, you killed her. Do you know that was her distress call to me? Clara scared, tears-smeared face, grabbed his arm explaining, I feared you'd leave temporarily, I didn't expect to kill Sister Serena, I wasn't intentional. Seeing her green tea act, I couldn't help clenching fists. Last call picked up 2 seconds, my save me just out, other end hung mercilessly. She knew I was in danger, absolutely not unintentional. Julian flung her off fiercely, drove to office. Office has computer, Evan, this kid doesn't like going home daily, simply nests here gaming. When Julian rushed in, he was eating instant noodles. Bro, so late, why come? Julian didn't respond, ran to storage rummaging, boxes thrown everywhere. He stood in room breaking down, covering head crying loudly. Evan, scared, asked, Bro, finding what? Julian, soulless, belongings? The ones we collected. Where's today's Lingnan Road female deceased's belongings? Evan hissed, pointed window trash bin, that grandma said burned and thrown there. Julian cried, running out, dumped bin contents, knelt and piled, desperately searching, but only found ashes with nothing left. I knew he was looking for those letters. Love letters I wrote and mailed during business trips. I said it had ritual sense. When old, white-haired, sitting side by side under eaves reading them, how memorable. I didn't wait till that day. Julian viciously smashed ground several times, fists bleeding. Still not enough, vent, slapped own face several times. All my fault, all my fault. He suddenly remembered something, panically took out the thick folded paper from pocket, clumsily opened. Content simple, Serena, 28, fetus over 16 weeks, biparietal diameter, head circumference, abdominal circumference, femur all visible. About 2 minutes later, Julian's gaze scattered, hand-holding report shaking crazily, couldn't hold back hoarse roaring. Serena, I was wrong, I beg you come back. Evan saw Ern earlier, now solemnly patted Julian's shoulder, stiffly squeezed 2 words, condolences. Julian went mad. How could Serena bear leaving me? She won't leave, she's tricking me again. She likes kids so much, how bear dying? Evan, look, I have a child, I'll be dad, Serena will come home soon. Evan turned, couldn't bear seeing him like this. Bro, don't, sister-in-law is dead, she's now ashes, you should bury her and the child well. Julian never recovered from that moment on, spending his days staring at my photo. He pulled out the video of our marriage registration ceremony and watched it over and over. Why did we wear our school uniforms? So childish. I huffed haughtily, it made us look younger. Photographer's voice from off-screen, 2 newlyweds heads closer, more loving, good, start. Julian and I read vow in unison. We voluntarily become husband and wife. From today, we'll jointly shoulder marriage's responsibilities and obligations. Mutual respect, love, trust, encourage, forgive, yield, support each other, love lifetime. Henceforth, whether prosperity or adversity, rich or poor, health or illness, youth or old, we'll uphold today's vow. Finally, Julian kissed my forehead, softly said in ear, Serena, like this together lifetime. Video ended, Julian already sobbing uncontrollably. Later he pushed off work, saying to accompany girlfriend more. Julian once said he loved this profession because everyone is life's protagonist, worth commemorating, and legacy organizer can analyze deceased's complete life through belongings. I stood before him, walking around. I wanted to ask, did you see what I endured in life? Pity I left no photos, world only has cancelled ID and a video proving I existed. In semi-transparent form, I clawed and grimaced accusing, Julian, this time your work dissatisfied the party, I want to complain. TV suddenly blacked, reflecting my comical figure. Serena, you back? I see you. Julian stumbled, pouncing to hug, but empty. Julian arranged my funeral, buried me in cemetery. Previously handling Lily kidnapping officer Harris came. Their investigation had new progress. Kidnapping day, had seen not only me and Lily, but a blurry figure. From surveillance, this person not too big, Lily hands tied behind, surprisingly smiled at him. They confirmed acquaintance crime, asked Julian think if offended any enemies. Julian eyes slightly bright, but pretended not recognize, shook head. After Officer Harris left, Julian called Clara. When Clara came, specially dressed up. Also brought Julian some self-made small cakes desserts. Julian sat on sofa, coldly looking, about Lily kidnapping, say yourself. Clara eyes wide, confused, Brother Julian, what are you saying? I don't understand. Julian pinched her neck, pressed on sofa, What's with your overseas account? Why appear at kidnapping scene? I give you last chance. Clara pushed him off, gasping. Those watery almond eyes from pitiable became increasingly fierce. She raised brow at Julian. It was me, from start returning approaching you had purpose. I needed money for my bro's turnover, but originally wanted to kidnap Serena. Who knew bumped into Lily that fool? I didn't want to kill her, but who let her see my face? Julian shook angrily, eyes bloodshot, wishing to tear the smug woman apart. But Clara still recklessly provoked this madman. Serena dead, you smug? The more miserably she dies, the happier I am. Just said, Clara grabbed by hair dragged to balcony. Julian, hurts, let go, you mad? How could Clara beat a 1.9M man? But she desperately hugged Julian when body flipped over railing. Two people fell rapidly from 40th floor, landing on ground with muffled sound. Everything ended. Clara below when falling, died on spot, Julian severely injured, recovered 2 months later discharged, but lifelong unable to walk, henceforth inseparable from wheelchair. His mind seemed problematic too, always talking to air. Seeing people asked, "Did you see my fiancé?" She said she loves me, she didn't die at all. Most times got passerbys neurotic. On a sunny afternoon, I turned into Breeze gently brushing Julian's hair tips, made final farewell. I hope we never meet again. Even next life, don't encounter. In his shocked excited gaze, I waved at him. Secretly said, never see again, Julian.